Well, hello and a very warm welcome back to the Andrew Eborn Show, where I'm delighted that actor, director, and all-round good egg, Tino Orsini.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
I am amazing. We were talking about vowel movements just before you came on air, so
Brilliant.
always a joy. So,
Oh,
Tino Orsini.
yes, correct.
Fantastic. I love it. Now, you were born, it won't surprise anybody, but you were born in southern Italy and you moved to the UK when you were the tender age of 9. Talk us
Yeah.
about your life in Italy, because I love Italy.
Yeah, I do too. It's a wonderful country. It's politically, it's a little bit mixed up at the moment, obviously, but Italy has got a lot to offer. You know, we have wonderful cultural heritage. In all sorts of area, fashion and music and ballet and opera, and food is rather good as
Oh,
well.
we love
Um, In fact, my whole family are in the catering industry, restaurants and bars, and so I was very spoiled growing up. But when I turned 9, around 9 years old, my family and I moved to London, and yeah, it was a little bit difficult at the beginning to get used to a new culture, make new friends, learn the language, obviously. But pretty soon I appreciated London because I was introduced to theatre and museums and galleries, and so I fell in love with London, and I still live.
It's a glorious city. What part of Italy were you?
I was born about an hour south of Naples.
Okay, oh, sensational.
Yeah,
I love that area of Italy.
yeah.
But tell me then, I mean, as you say, such a glorious place, and Naples and the people there and the culture and the food and everything is sensational. Why did you move to London?
Well, my father was already here, was already in the UK, starting the business, the family business with my uncle. So it was just me and my mother and my sister living back home. My grandfather lived with us at the time. And so we decided to join him. You know, I had no choice. I was 9 years old. I couldn't say, no, I'm staying here. I'm staying here.
Well,
So I had
an
to.
independent soul from an early age. It would have been
I know
interesting.
exactly, right? Yeah. And I was pretty independent kid, but not that much. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
talk to me about that. You talk about the family business. What was that business?
First of all, it was delicatessens. We had a delicatessen in Parsons Green and then Munster Road in Fulham. And we had those for a number of years. And then my uncle in 1978 opened a pizzeria in Beecham Place, Knightsbridge, centre of London, called Ciro's Pizza Pomodoro. You might know him.
I'm a regular there. This is why I was
I
so
know.
delighted, because Ciro is such a wonderful character, isn't he?
He certainly is. He's in Thailand at the moment. He can't get out of Thailand because of the pandemic, but hopefully he'll be with us soon. But so yes, from there it sort of spurned, a big chain all over the world, and it's still there, and live music every night. Obviously not open at the moment.
Well,
I think it's
and
just
that's the problem, isn't it? Because you talk about the restaurant business. I mean,
yeah,
Ciro is an institution, and he's set up in a number of countries. He himself is so well connected with the film and
yes.
television. Every time I sort of go there, there's like Steven Seagal's over there, and you've got such and such a star over here, and you get all the people coming down to sing. Missing out on that now must be really tricky, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah.
But you
I
Yeah, I mean your love of the theatre and your and Chiro, as I say, he encapsulates all that, and he's been involved with several films himself. He's certainly hosted more after show parties than anybody I know. which is
true.
late night at Chiro's is wonderful. But you started your love of that in school plays, didn't you? Talk to me about those early days.
I did, yes. Even when I was back home in Naples, I had this I was drawn to the radio and television programs like Happy Days, and I um, I started doing school plays. Yeah, I remember even back there. But when we came to England, I went to the London Oratory School, and I got a part of Dr. Watson in Sherlock Holmes play we did, and I just fell
Oh,
in love with
wonderful.
it.
No, we've
Yeah.
had the guy who had a number of people on the show. I mean, we've had Susie Quattro, who famously was in Happy Days, and
Oh
still
yeah,
Happy
yeah.
Days today, so she's in that. And we have the gentleman who plays Dr. Watson on the radio.
Uh-huh.
States. He's done several episodes. So and we're just around the corner from Baker Street as well. So lots of
Oh,
connections
great.
with Sherlock Holmes. Absolutely.
I've always wanted to go to the little doorway. I always pass by. I think I'm going to do that one day. But yeah, so I did the Sherlock Holmes play, and then in the sixth form, I got the part of Eddie Carbone in Arthur Miller's A View from the Bridge, and I just loved it so much that I decided not to go to university, and don't do it, kids. Go to university, and decided to go to Los Angeles and train with the Stella Adler Conservatory. Yeah, where I was I was so enthusiastic. I never missed one single class.
Right.
I was.
But
I
it
claim to
is
fame.
infectious, isn't it? I mean, if there's a plague of anything anywhere, there's a plague of actors and creatives in LA, isn't there?
Yeah.
And immersing yourself, but in a very positive way, immersing yourself in that sort of culture. How did you find that?
I loved it. I because I'd grown up with all these American sitcoms and all these. I just I loved it. Was, LA. Have you been to LA, Andrew?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure you have. Yeah.
My wife used to work in Hollywood, so
Oh right. Yeah. So
regular.
you
Her
know.
parents near Palm Springs and that sort of side. So
Oh,
regular
beautiful.
visitor.
Oh, so it's you know how laid back and everybody's so friendly and there are a lot of actors, a big competition. So coming from the London Oratory with my suitcase to Hollywood, I thought, well, I'll be cast within a couple of weeks or so. I wasn't exactly precisely like that, but I did get a good agent. I was with the Carlos Alvarado agency, and I got a sort of, I was lucky enough to start off with sort of small stage performances, and eventually got a role in a couple of independent films. And but I miss theatre. I mean, that's the only thing that I miss in LA. There is a bit of a theatre scene, but it's mainly film and television. So I really missed that stage buzz, Andrew. And so I decided to come back to London, and got accepted at the Drama Studio London, the drama school here, and from there I just sort of stayed here really, and I've sort of gone back a few times, but I'm sort of based in the UK now, so yeah.
And you've got a rich history in the theatre with all sorts of things, from Project Lolita to The Taming of the Shrew, and all sorts of things in between. Talk to me about your theatrical experience, because as you say, that's your real love at that stage. And obviously we'll come on to the films in a bit, and also the podcast, the award-winning podcast, which you come on to. But talk to me about the theatre, because there is a wonderful, magical experience that even when people reach the dizzying heights of triple A-list celebrity, they love to tread the boards, don't they?
Yes, I think for me personally, as an actor, I really need to have that relationship with the audience, which you don't have on film and TV and stuff. And I think that's where the craft for me is based, if you like. I mean, I like you said, I've done so much theatre in the UK. I've toured at in Edinburgh Fringe, the Cambridge Theatre Challenge, which was an annual competition. I've done all sorts, the Cambridge Shakespeare Festival, and the Vault Festival. That was so much fun. Yes, I think I have to do theatre. I mean, I wouldn't want to have a kind of career that only sort of focuses on film. I do need to be on stage, tread the boards as much as I
I
can.
think you're right, Tino, as well. A lot of the actors and actresses from all sides of the profession, they say the secret is to have that diversity. And you've got diversity. You've done the commercials, you've done your film, you've done your podcast, you've done the theatre. Do you have a preferred medium?
I love theatre, but I also love using my voice. Like I said, I grew up with a lot of radio. My mother, when I was a kid growing up, she used to sing all sort of Neapolitan songs around the house, and I fell in love with that kind of medium as well. but I mean, obviously, at the moment, television is being so well written that I mean, obviously, I want to focus a bit on TV and a bit of film as well. So, but I would say theatre was my first love, really. Yeah, I just
So
fell in love
without
with.
that first love, I mean, in lockdown, we're all missing theatre, social
Yeah,
distancing, even if they tried it in the summer, and I'm very privileged because we have Regent's Park just in front of me. I'm overlooking. If I look over the screen, I can see Regent's Park in all its glory. And we have the open air theatre there. And even the bit when we were allowed to go out to the theatre, they tried some socially distanced. And I saw Jesus Christ Superstars. It's what, 1,400 people. Normally, they got about 400 in. Now, from a
right.
theatrical experience point of view, you obviously don't have quite the intensity. It's great to see a show, but
Mm.
you're missing that with the social distancing. Now, obviously, we're desperate for it to come back. What was the last thing you did?
The last thing I did was at the Southwark Playhouse. It was a sort of a showcase of sort of short plays, and I forget what the play was called that we did. I played a plumber or some very sort of sinister plumber, but at the Southwark Playhouse, which was a beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful
love
venue.
it. Love the Southern Playhouse. I mean, it's
Yeah,
glorious theatres, and we do hope so much that they survive because it's so
yeah,
difficult in the arts, isn't it?
yeah. It's really tricky at the moment, isn't it, Andrew? I mean, how and how theatre can survive through this. It really is a challenge for us creatives. It really is. We need to have theatre as soon as we can, because without it, we don't have anything. Without theatre, the society is lost for storytelling and inspiration as well.
Well, and absolutely, and I think whilst I mean, radio, I love radio as a medium as well because it is the power of the voice, which can take you anywhere, and you don't have to dress
Yeah.
up for radio as well. So
Yes, exactly. Yes.
a regular on the show is the wonderful Mike Reed, who does a breakfast show every morning. You see what he wears or doesn't wear. It's kind of extraordinary. And I talked about the Dr. Watson, and he plays Dr. Watson, who could be any size, any height, or whatever it is, and he doesn't
Mm.
look anything which you would imagine. I can tell you that. So it is always a joy. It is that power to play with the imagination. But we talked to a lot of creatives on this show during these troubling times, and they're struggling. I mean, I appreciate. I mean, we've all got our struggles. How have you coped?
Well, I mean, I haven't worked over the last year. I did a short film at the end of 2019, and then when it all broke out, I just sort of just stayed indoors for with my bubble, and I have done a few bits and bobs online. I did a Zoom pilot, TV pilot on Zoom, and I've done various sort of things like this, and sort of article writing, just trying to keep myself active. I've had, at the beginning of the lockdown, the very first lockdown, it was a little bit of a challenging time for me. I really struggled, and but then I realized, I thought, you know what, just use this time to sort of you know uh, just try and focus on what you want to do with your life, and my creative juices started. Oh, okay, I can do something online. I've started doing yoga and things like that. So I'm using the time as much as I can to replenish myself and just to reset, and hopefully, once we get back to normality, we will have learned something from this, as
I think
as a
whenever
whole.
people use that phrase a lot, Tina, they talk about going back to normality. There won't be going back. I
Yeah,
think it's all going
yeah,
forward.
like a new that's what I mean, like a new normality,
A
like
new normality. And I
what
think
is normality? Yeah.
one of the good things, one of the great things is that we're reassessing we've taken for granted for a long time. I mean, such as contact with friends, such as
Mm.
even simple things like a hug, or just
Oh,
going out to a restaurant, going out to Churros and for a late
yes.
night with wonderful music playing in the background. All of those things we sort of took for granted, didn't we? And it's all part of our
Yes,
life every day. And now we realize just how important those things were.
absolutely. Just the hugging a friend, I really miss that, and going out to restaurants, and going to concerts and the theater and the cinema. I mean, how lucky are we, to have all this at our disposal, and now more than ever, it's like I really appreciate all that. I really appreciate just meeting a friend for a coffee, and just chatting to them. And God, it's really brought things back into perspective, I think. Yeah, it really has.
You're absolutely right on that. I mean, even when we had partial lockdown and I was going along to the cinema, I go to the cinema a lot. I love film, I love theatre, I love all the arts, go to galleries. We've done that virtually every day, something. But my last visits to the cinema, we have right in the heart of London, several in the West End. And I was so often the very only person in this massive screen seeing Tenet or whatever the last sort of big blockbusters were, and they were deserted. And I think
Mm.
people were so, they always say that nothing spreads quicker than fear. And I think people
Yes,
were so scared to go
yes,
out, even when with the appropriate measures in place, that there was that terrible sort of undercurrent, if you like, of
yeah,
fear.
yeah. It's a tension, isn't it? It's tension in the air. When I've been out a few times myself, and in between lockdowns in the summer, I did a day on a short film, and everything was in place. All the regulations were in place, but there was a sense on set that I hadn't really felt before. And it was weird. It's a weird feeling to have.
It is
Yeah,
strange, and it's one of the most powerful emotions is fear. They ever
yeah,
since the sort of Dixie Cup, if you like, that's how it was introduced. The father of PR, Barnard, he would say that the biggest selling force you can have is fear. If people are
yeah,
scared, this
yeah.
is what they can do. And it is interesting. I mean, film, we do need a means of escape. You've got a rich career in film. You've done all sorts, from the shorts, as you say, to commercials, which are essential to people like HSBC and PC World and all those sort of wonderful commercials that you do as well. And the budgets for those, actually, when you're on set, they are the budgets of feature films, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. The budget is huge, and they have name actors. I've worked with sort of all sorts of name actors. Sean Williamson,
Yeah,
and
Sean Williamson you worked with, absolutely.
on the PC World Carriers. There was so much fun to do, Andrew. And but the budgets, and also the quality, the the production values are extremely high, just like a sort of a mini film, really. A lot of them.
Oh,
The HSBC commercial, I believe, won awards for it. It's shown all over the world still. So yeah, I've been very lucky in that department. Yeah.
no, it's wonderful. Like, similar to the production values of the Andrew Eborn Show, absolutely. We spend
Absolutely, yes. The Andrew
always a
Eborn
thrill.
Show, yes.
Oh, but it's the quality of the content. I think that's what you go for. It's always a thrill. But also
Absolutely.
you've worked on all sorts. So that's the sort of, I say, feature film budgets, and you can tell
Yeah.
the difference when they've got the advertising agencies. But
Oh
you've
yeah.
also worked on all sorts of other films. Talk to me about some of those.
Well, I did a film with our friend Jonathan Hansler called
Okay.
Mona. That was a lovely film. We had a wonderful premiere in Leicester Square, and my family came, my friends came to support me, which was wonderful. He was the lead. I played an ambassador, Portuguese ambassador. It's on. You can stream it online at the moment. It's a really good sort of thriller. But I've done quite a lot of Nollywood films with a wonderful director, auteur, I should say, called Tony Sebastian Ukbon. Wonderful director, and I've worked with him a few times in a short film, and we did After the World Ended, sort of a post-apocalyptic film. But I did a couple of things in LA as well, and I've done a Bollywood film recently, a couple of years ago. So I've got this thing. I've done Hollywood, I've done Nollywood, and I've also done Bollywood. So my next goal, Andrew, is to go to Cinecittà and do a wonderful film with somebody like Sophia Loren or somebody.
Ah, it'd be wonderful. Or you can go to Borehamwood. You can go up the road. They've got studios up there. It's gonna be
Absolutely,
good.
yeah,
I would, I
yeah,
could, and I should. Absolutely.
absolutely, yes,
You've got to
yes.
do all those. Now, the other thing which you've not only dabbled with but done very successfully are your podcasts. Talk to me about those.
Yeah,
'Cause they won awards.
he
What's
was
the
nominated.
secret?
We didn't win actually. We were nominated. We had Susie
Never
Quattro.
let. This is a big lesson in life that I've learned.
Oh yeah,
Is never let the truth stand in the way of a good story. So
Oh,
you've got to do that. So if I say award winning, everybody's award winning. So the fact that
everybody's
it's
award
quite
winning.
unique not to have won an award.
Well, we did win. We did win the award nomination. Actually, yes.
Oh,
It was a real thrill to go up to Manchester and go to the award ceremony, and um, and um, and get nominated. But yeah, so basically we started this podcast purely for to have a platform to talk to other creatives, people that I've worked with, friends and stuff, and I loved it. I loved it. We did 100 episodes over the period of 4 years, and we had, like I said, Susie Quattro. We had loads of wonderful guests like Dame Janet Suzman and Jack Lemon's son, Chris, who's become a dear friend. And, we had wonderful musicians and authors and directors, producers, a lot of actors, singers. I mean, the whole sort of spectrum of the creative arts, and I absolutely loved it. And
no, it's fantastic. So what would you say? I mean, obviously a guest list is very, very important. To get your black book is very important. What is the secret for being nominated? What's the secret of getting to be nominated for one of these awards podcasts? What are the secrets, do you reckon?
I think we just sort of had a wonderful, sort of very, sort of just a nice conversation, really. I mean, and the important thing was for me to listen to my guests, and have that collaboration as two or three people having a wonderful conversation and listening to each other, and I think that was a secret for the podcast. Yeah.
And what's happened to it?
Well, we ended it. I decided to end it. I wanted to have a nice round figure of episodes. 100, I thought was perfect. So I just had to focus on other projects and stuff. But we are in talks at the moment of coming back, actually, exclusive, in a different format. Obviously, a visual.
No, we should have little flashing lights at that moment. This is an exclusive, a world exclusive. Tino Orsini is about to do the next 100.
It'll be a different kind of format, Andrew. It'll be like a dual hosting and more sort of focused on film reviews and stuff like that. Yeah.
Maybe we should combine forces on some of that, because during lockdown, it'd be lovely to do. I mean, during lockdown, I've done actually over 1,000. Can you believe? Over 1,000 interviews with everybody from Charles Spencer to fashionistas to those in the arts to musicians.
Incredible.
Everybody from every walk of life, and one of the common themes is this. It's a Shakespeare to slightly adapted. Is if you prick me, do I not bleed? If you tickle me, do I not laugh? And what I realise is that we are all the same, aren't we?
We are all one. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We're human beings.
And we all approach these sort of adversities and challenges and so on and so forth in different ways. And it's having that bravery, if you like, to come and talk about it, that gives comfort to a lot of people.
You never know. You might affect just one person and you'll have done the job,
No, really, really powerful. So looking back at your career, it's not the end, you've got much more to go, but looking back, let's start with this. What have you learned? What has been the biggest regret that you wish you'd told a young Tino all the way back when you were 9, when you first came over here and you started your love of acting? What advice would you give yourself back then?
What would I say to my 9-year-old self? I would use the motto "To thine own self be true." I think in an industry where it's all about appearances and how many followers you have, etc. At the moment, I think the most important thing is to have that self-respect and that integrity within yourself, within the work. And sometimes it's very easy to sort of sway off the path and be distracted. But I would say just focus on your path and just follow your path and let it be.
And your proudest moments?
My proudest moment would be, what would it be? I did actually win an award. I was nominated and won the Best Performance Award at the IL Film Festival in London for a short film beautifully shot by Roberto Minelli called Panettone. So in which I played a homeless man who's trying to reconcile with his family. So we won the whole ensemble award. We won the best performance. That was pretty special. Yeah.
Well done. Well, fantastic stuff. It's been a real joy catching up, Tino. We'll
Andrew,
pop down
thank you so much for having me on.
to Chiro's when we can. And
Absolutely, a nice capricciosa.
oh, absolutely. And I look forward to that collaboration on the next 100. It'd be wonderful. But just to finish with, and I know you've got long time to go, but people in there have been reflecting about their role in what's happening with the current pandemic and troubling times. Your own impact on the world, I'm talking about leaving a legacy. How would you, Tino Orsini, like to be remembered?
Wow, that's a good question. I would like to be remembered as someone who made a difference in the world, basically. Yeah, I'd say somebody who tried to do the best he could and help others. Help others by being an actor, by making people sort of happy and reflect on their own lives through the work that I have done. I think that's what I'd say.
Well, Tino, you've certainly done that today, and I look forward to many more happy years and revisiting our conversations, as I say, either at Chiro's or elsewhere on these glorious platforms in the meantime. But thank you very much for being my guest.
It's been a complete pleasure. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you, Tino. See you next time.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So thank you again to Tino Orsini for joining me and filling us in about his life and his extraordinary family, and many happy times have we had at Chiro's Pomodoro over in Knightsbridge. We will be coming back with lots of those A-list celebrities. Get out that black book and they'll be here on the Andrew Eborn Show. If you have suggestions for guests or any comments you want to make about the shows, write to me at guests@octopustv.com. That's guests@octopustv.com. Don't forget to subscribe on to Andrew Eborn at Octopus TV, and you can follow us and share and all the usual platforms, YouTube, Dailymotion, more platforms than King's Cross, as they say. But for me for now, thanks again to Tino. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.